But I'm gonna do my Quaker Oats joke on NBC. I was like, is my phone number on a bathroom wall or something? I shared a room with my uncle, but it's not weird because my uncle is not that much older than me because we're Puerto Rican. But it's like intellectual thuggery in DC, and that's my brand of humor. When I first started doing stand-up, I was homeless. I was struggling with 2 children by myself. I had just gotten out of a very abusive relationship, and comedy was the place where I went to find myself and to heal. I'm itching, but I've been having these weird allergies. I'm not on cocaine. Like I would have made a lot of better choices had I had to earn my penis.
Hello, and welcome to the Comedy Divas Gurl Talk Podcast, where we talk to funny divas from the stage to the screen, behind the scenes, and everywhere in between to tell their amazing stories, because you know what? They just aren't told enough. We have a very special diva in the house tonight, but please subscribe and follow us and tell us who you want to see and where you want to see them. Now, without further ado, Aida Rodriguez.
That's
Aida
right.
is a comedian, an actress, a writer, a producer, a director. You've seen on Last Comic Standing, Tiffany Haddish, Stay Ready, her own special for HBO Max called Fighting Words, her own podcast called Say What You Mean with Aida Rodriguez. Aida Rodriguez.
That's right.
So here we go. Thank you, Aida. I'm so sorry
Thank
for your
you.
name. I know people say a different name.
No, you know what? I was saying it wrong for a long time. So,
Really?
Yeah. I was saying, I was just allowing people to say my name incorrectly because
How should people say your name?
Aida.
Aida.
Yeah,
Rodriguez.
it's Aida Rodriguez. Yes, both of my grandmothers were named Aida, so
Really?
I wasn't getting
so
out
you
of
were
that.
destined.
Yeah, I wasn't getting out of that one. That was for sure.
So thank you so much for being here. We are big fans of Comedy Divas. Your videos, we post them, and they always do
I
well.
know. Thank you for posting them. I
Yes.
appreciate
yes,
that.
you're so funny, and we like to support when you're touring. That's what we're all about, supporting women of color in comedy.
I appreciate it.
And you are top notch. So
Thank
thank you for being
you.
here.
No, thank you for having
Yeah.
me.
So, I like to hear everyone's journey because everyone's journey is different.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you know you were funny?
Ooh, so I think I was funny as a kid. I think I like to think that I was funny as a kid. I think growing up poor in the inner city, like being funny was a defense mechanism. It's something that we used to do and make fun of the things that we were ashamed of. So I think we just developed that muscle to be funny. But I had my mom is funny, my grandmother's funny. My brother's really funny. I just grew up around funny people, and we laughed a lot, and so I had no choice but to be funny.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Miami, Florida.
Okay. In what part? Because I know people are particular about what part of Miami.
I grew up in Alapata. I grew
Okay.
up in the central part of the city, but it's like it's a black and brown neighborhood in Miami that has yet to be gentrified.
Well, good luck with that. So what is your journey to get to the stage and be a comedian?
So, I moved to LA to be a film star. I am a writer and an actor, and I came here to be a movie star. And I wrote a movie a comedy that made it to like the final cut of the Sundance Writers Lab.
Wow, impressive.
It was, yeah, but I moved here. I was like, it's happening. And then it didn't happen. But I was auditioning, and I was in class, and I started doing this radio show that was on the Jamie Foxhole network.
Oh, Foxhole, yeah.
Yeah. And I was convinced to do a comedy show. Chris Spencer saw me at this brunch. We were roasting a friend, and he said, "Hey, you're a stand-up comic." He was like, "I don't know if you know."
You didn't know till then.
I knew I wanted to do it. I was afraid to do it. I had heard it quite often, but that was the moment where he was like, "Just try it out. Go to this open mic, and let's see what happens." But simultaneously, Speedy at the Foxhole Network was like, "You want to do a comedy show?" And I went to Arizona to the Orpheum Theater with them. Bernadette Stannis, who was Thelma for Good,
Thelma.
she was on the show. I just did 5 minutes of comedy, and it was my first time on stage, and I never stopped.
You were natural.
That's what they say.
Wow, that's impressive because like you just went for it.
I did. I was out of state and I was at a church show too, so I felt like it was a safe space. But I think I have been writing jokes for a long time because at some point I was like, I'm going to get on stage. But it was Chris Spencer that really pushed me out there. It was like, go try and see. And then from the moment I hit the stage, I never stopped. I did some open mics and I did that show, but then I did Chocolate Sundaes. I did the amateur spot and I bombed. And that's when I knew I wanted to do stand-up. Because when I bombed, I was like, oh, I got to figure this out. I gotta figure this out. How do I make this work? And then I've been doing it ever since.
And Chocolate Sunday, that's a hard room.
It is.
For those who don't know, it's a very popular room here in LA, and the best of the best go on stage, and that crowd does not play. It's like an Apollo crowd up in there. So.
I wouldn't say Apollo, but I would say our version of, there's nothing like the Apollo.
No,
the Apollo will make you go to therapy, but Chocolate Sundaes will just make you leave early. But yeah, it's a lot, it's a competitive room, and I think people think that they can do stand-up because they're funny to their friends. And that's one of those honest rooms, where if people laugh there, then you probably are funny.
And I actually saw you there years ago. That's the first time I saw you at Chocolate Sunday. But one thing that really impressed me, you are good with hecklers.
Oh, yeah.
You can roast. You tore into this guy. And that kind of was the precursor to what people are doing a lot now called crowd work.
Oh, yeah.
So did that come naturally to you as well? And how do you like crowd work?
So, crowd work serves as a function for comedy, but it is a tool. I don't think it's, for me, it's not my whole set. And I know some people have built careers on that. And I don't like to do crowd work. It's not my thing. Okay. And so that's why I don't put it on social media a lot, because I don't want people to come to my shows and think that they can just yell out or we're going to have a conversation. I have a set I've been working on. I've been writing these jokes, and that's what I want to deliver. And I think, comedy there's a spectrum of comedy, and there are different spaces and opportunities for people to express their version of what comedy is. But for me, stand-up comedy is you, the mic, and some material. And so crowd work is something that happens. Sometimes you do it, you warm up the crowd. It's a few minutes, 2 minutes tops at the top of the show. You want to say, hey, I'm here in Arkansas. I saw your, the graffiti on the wall, whatever, just to warm up the crowd. But for me, I don't ever want to be somebody who is known for crowd work, because it's just not my brand of humor. It never has been. A lot of these people who've been doing that have always done it, but it's not my thing. I mean, I think D.L. Hughley's probably the master of dealing with a heckler to me, and that's just my opinion, so this is not opening up a discussion for the internet to tell me I'm wrong. But I think that, it's not my scene in comedy.
One thing you also are really good at is owning your ethnicity, for lack of a better word, because you're Puerto Rican and Dominican. I'm from the Bronx, so I know both sides.
I know, I lived there too, so I know.
So I love the way you actually, because people don't understand there is a difference. Yeah. So what is the difference between how Puerto Ricans are conceived or perceived and Dominicans?
Well, I mean, it depends on who's doing the perceiving, right? So, there's always been these wars, these culture wars. It is, the greatest, I guess, tool to keep people divided of all time. And so Puerto Ricans and Dominicans are the Latin, Spanish-speaking Caribbean people, along with Cubans, but Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, Jamaicans, Haitians, they're all like African, Spaniard, and Native, the Tainos, the Kalingos, like all of the Native people. So the differences culturally are very specific to, the Dominican Republic. They speak Spanish a little faster than Puerto Ricans. They have their own versions of how they cook the plantains, or because honestly, we both eat the sweet plantains and the tostones. I just think, everybody's been socialized into thinking we're different, even though many of us, the genealogy says we're the same. There are just a lot of cultural differences. Merengue comes from the Dominican Republic and salsa from Puerto Rico. And you know, but in essence, we're kind of like the same people, but they're just culturally just different things. No different than people from the Bronx versus Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all diaspora people, and
at the end of the day,
and it's interesting to see.
Absolutely, because my family's from Jamaica and Barbados.
Oh yeah,
same thing, but not. And
right.
we're very proud.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's funny, just like sidebar, because I say I'm from the Bronx, and when I moved to LA years ago, I used to always kind of trip off the kind of black and brown. The beef. Fighting, the beef. I was like, it wasn't like that in New York. Because who used to fight with Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans? Every day after like school would be like, who's fighting? I'm Maria fighting.
Yeah.
Because this one thinks she's better than the other one. You know, it's like, we used to be like, why are they fighting? We never understood it.
Yeah.
Growing up. So it's an interesting cousin battle that goes on.
Yeah, it's all part of the colonial project. It's to keep everybody fighting, and if we keep them fighting, we can keep them distracted, and then we can keep them down.
And what I do respect about you too is that you will go there with political comedy. You give 0 Fs, and I really respect that about you, because people come for you. I've seen it. People come for you online.
Yeah, they do.
So what made you like take that leap to be so vocal about politics?
I think for me, I've always been this way, so I feel like I might as well just be myself. Like even in this conversation, we are 3-4 minutes in, and we've already talked about colonization, and you know, it's just who I am. And I used to try to like suppress it or to back away from it, but it's really who I am. It's how I think, how I see things. You know, I seek a better world for all of us, you know, and I think about those things, and I think comedy is healing, and it's also a way to you know, deliver messages that might be harder to have just on a serious conversation or a serious platform, but sometimes through a joke, things resonate. And for me, that's always spoken to me. Richard Pryor did it, George Carlin did it, people that I respect, Bill Burr does it, the comedians that I really hold in high regard do it, you know, and so I tend to love it. Wanda Sykes does this effortlessly, you know, and so that's just the kind of comedy that I've always. I mean, when I start to write and my jokes get silly, for some reason I end up back into right back at the place where I'm like, but wait a minute, but what does this really mean? It's just how I think, and I don't think going on stage and pretending to be somebody else would work for me.
Well, again, I respect you.
Kudos I appreciate it.
You take some bullets, like really. It's real deep for people. I totally get it. It's like, wow, you really are taking this personal. Really, really. And speaking of social media, how have you embraced it? I know it's kind of a generational gap sometimes, and who embraces it and who, you know, really implements it and takes it on. You have a wonderful website, by the way.
Thank you.
I'll just tell you this. You have one of the best comedian websites, because I've seen a lot of them.
Oh, thank you.
Yours
Thank you.
Is great. Whoever's doing
great segments. That's who does it. Yeah. You know, I've been on social media from the beginning, right? So to say, oh, this is what the kids are doing. I've been on social media. I've been on Facebook from the beginning. I was on Facebook from the beginning. A comedian named James Hanna, who's passed away from Chicago.
Yeah, I remember James.
James told me to get on Facebook. He was like, get on Facebook and do your comedy on there. You know, I'm not a social media comic, and I will never claim that title, because there are some people who are.
Yes.
And that's a craft unto its own, to be able to edit and to do the things that they do. But I've embraced it in a way where I use it as a tool, and it is what it is. I don't live my life based on what social media says, because I know, you know, for some people it's been important. I don't know why I'm itching, but I've been having these weird allergies. I'm not on cocaine. But it's only part of the portfolio versus the portfolio.
Exactly.
And so for me, you know, I've had to evolve with it. I've had videos go viral, and I've gotten a lot of attention on social media because of an interview I did on The Breakfast Club, or if I did something over here. But it's just part of the whole package, and it's a tool, and I think it helps with ticket sales. At least it was helping with ticket sales. And it's a fun thing if you don't let it become everything. I can't live my life on social media though, so it's just a tool. And it's part of the whole package that we use. But the most important thing for me as a comedian is that when people come see me live, that I have jokes.
And you keep it fresh. You keep it new.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That I have jokes, and that I honor their investment and their commitment to come see me with an hour of comedy that, that respects them. I have a very comedy-driven audience. I don't have a social media audience. So people that come see me may have seen me go on a clip or something, but they're comedy like connoisseurs. Like the people that come see me are like real stand-up, people that love comedy. And so I'm blessed in that way. I may not have, 10 million followers, but I appreciate having the audience that I have, because the people that come see me are thoughtful and respectful, and they like comedy. They like real stand-up.
Yeah, it's nothing like having a loyal fan base, because they will go with you for years.
They do.
They follow you, so that's really important. So I also want to talk about, let's just talk about what it is. There are so many challenges of women of color in comedy.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the challenges that you faced?
I think one of the things is always having people telling me what I should be doing, like trying to coach me, and I call them children of a lesser God, like people who don't headline, people who don't open for me, who would never open for me, giving me notes on comedy. And I've never been an arrogant comic. It's just not my way. I don't talk about, looks on stage. I don't talk about, I never really talked about, I remember Chris Spencer was like, you need to go on stage and talk about how you look. And I was like, how I look is relative, because I could be beautiful to one person. To one person, I could just be that lady. And so that's never been the thing that I've done, because I feel like it alienates the audience, and nothing wrong with feeling good about yourself and propping yourself up. But I don't need to shit on the audience or disregard the audience by saying, that's just not my thing. And I don't condemn anybody else for doing it. I know a lot of women and men who've been like, I know I'm fine, but I've always been so careful about, making sure that I'm saying something that's been so important to me. Opening for Paul Mooney was very impactful, and he was very hard on me. And, he was like, I better never find out that you out there doing that silly stuff, or, the people that I respect in comedy who would say, I really like this bit. I think this is a brilliant bit. I think this is so smart. That's positive reinforcement, and it feeds me, all of us who have our little kids inside of us. But, I don't know. I think some of the things that women experience in comedy, black and brown women, and is, the pay disparity. I have male comedians who are my friends, who are white guys, that will say, hey, look, this is what they offered me, just so that as a reference point, because you have more credits than I do, so such and such and such and such. The sexism in comedy, the idea that there's this idea that when we tell our stories, they're belittled in a way, like, there they go doing the Puerto Rican thing, or doing the black thing, or look, there's a woman doing, but countless white women do the same thing. They talk about sex, and she's clever at it, but they all talking about the same thing, but nobody's saying, look, they're doing the white woman thing. Right. Happens a lot with women of color, black and brown women alike. Or if you are angry, which I don't know where when it became a crime for people of color to be angry, when we have a lot of reason and right to be angry. So
you're not allowed to express yourself, or else you're labeled and difficult and all these other things that are just...
I don't step away from it. I am angry, you know, watching and knowing that Tamir Rice was a baby and got murdered just for playing on the playground. Yep. Of course I'm angry. There's no way I'm not going to be angry when I see these things happen, or this young woman is serving in the military and then ends up dead at her military base, and nobody knows any.
Nobody does anything.
You know, and it happens with Black and brown women all the time. So I think, you know, like the pressure, and then the anti-woman sentiment that we feel from male comedians. Not all of them, but a lot of them, you know, have a lot of horrible things to say about women. And when you retaliate, you're either angry or you're not a good comic. But it's interesting to hear, you know, the way people perceive women in comedy. I think Wanda Sykes is one of the most brilliant minds in comedy, and I wonder often why she isn't propped up in the highest of places where she belongs. She's brilliant, she's smart, she's funny, and she shows up to really, really give you hours of stand-up comedy. She wrote for Chris Rock, so a lot of the things you heard him say, she was a part of that. And I look for the day when that stuff is, you know, becomes even and equal.
Yeah, there's a long way to go. Like, you know, sidebarring, when Taraji broke down in that interview and was crying, that's some real stuff, because I'm doing the same job. My resume is off the chain. I've been putting in the work, and I'm making a fraction of this chick who has done nowhere near the work I've done. It's very, you get angry. You get upset. Yeah. Now, do you experience, I mean, you're a beautiful woman and you're tall, you model, all that. Do you feel there's a kind of thing that you can't be funny because of how you look? I'm sure you get that.
I mean, I had to deal with that on live television when I did Last Comic Standing. But, you know, first of all, thank you. I appreciate the comment. You know, I think people don't realize, like, when you grow up not thinking you're pretty, not thinking you're, you know, even if you do I got recruited to model, but I never really, because I was dealing with abuse and certain issues. A lot of young women who've been sexually abused have a lot of self-esteem issues. I've never walked into the party saying, I'm that B, I'm here. That's never been my energy. And now that I'm older and I'm a grown woman, and I'm able to embrace and say, yeah, I am, you know, I am pretty dynamic. I'm a good person. I'm a great mother. I'm an intelligent woman. And to be able to look in the mirror and say, I like what I see. I'm not altered. I think I'm beautiful. I believe I'm beautiful. I believe I'm intelligent. It took me a really long time to get here. And that was, when they say youth is wasted on the young, they weren't lying, because when I first started doing stand-up, the last thing I thought was that I was pretty. I was homeless. I was struggling with 2 children by myself. I had just gotten out of a very abusive relationship, and comedy was the place where I went to find myself and to heal. And I never, even when I wore my yellow dress on Last Comic Standing, I never really was sitting there thinking like, dang, I'm beautiful. I was really like, I'm gonna do my Quaker Oats joke on NBC, because the standards and practices person said that I could do it. It was a tribute to my grandmother, who had just passed away 6 months prior. My uncle had just been murdered. And those were like my parents. They raised me alongside my mother. So what I was going through in that moment was like, I had to do what I could to build myself up, to lift myself up, because what I was going through internally was horrible. And I was staying at the hotel with my kids, and I was like, I finally just have a couple of days of peace and privacy with my children. It's never been something that I've leaned into for anything. You know, I can write a script, I can write a movie, I can write a TV show, you know, I can write a joke. I've written jokes for men who people laud and respect, and they would never know that I wrote the joke for them. I've had jokes stolen by men. And so, which is indicative, as Ian Edwards told me, that means you could write a good joke. If a man stole it and did your joke, then you got to write. Now write another one.
I just interviewed Melanie Camacho.
Oh, did you?
Melanie Cormacho.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right. Gotta say the stage right. I love her. She's a legend. All that.
Yeah.
She was just telling me how she did a special. She did a special, a Snoop Dogg special, and someone that was on that special with her, a gentleman, literally took her same joke and did it on his special. Like right in her face. I mean, the disrespect. That is absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah, talk about Chocolate Sundaes legend, Melanie Cormacho. I remember just going up there to see her. Always would have on some banging boots. Like, yes, I don't know where she get the boots from. But also somebody that I've seen, you know, I used to see her rip the stages. I think she's one of the few women who actually hosted that main stage.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. She's a beast. She's a beast. So has there been, I always like to ask this, has there been anyone, like any celebrity, like you got starstruck, like, I can't believe they know me? Who was that?
Oh, it's happened to me quite a few times. Salma Hayek, Marc Anthony, who I'm a big fan of. Marc Anthony WhatsApped me the video. Somebody who knew me was with him, and they were like, somebody wants to talk to you.
Wow.
Salma Hayek FaceTimed me.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like, is my phone number on a bathroom wall or something? Who else did? Ayanna Presley, the congresswoman from Massachusetts. I met her at the Breakfast Club, and I was like, hey, I'm a big fan of yours. I'm Aida Rodriguez. She was like, I know who you are. And that meant the world to me. Jennifer Lewis, I hosted the Multicultural Correspondence Dinner in Washington, D.C., and my dress was like crooked on the red carpet, and she got down and fixed my dress, and
really?
I almost started crying because I have a deep, deep respect for this woman. Quite a few people have praised me, and I feel very thankful and blessed that they know who I am, and it's been very humbling.
Who was your first celebrity crush, and have you met them?
My first celebrity crush was Michael Jackson, and no, I didn't. That was my first script that I wrote, was My Wedding to Michael Jackson, and I wrote it in a movie. I wrote it as a movie when I was a little girl. And it was like I wrote Michael in 2 parentheses and his dialogue, and then my name. And then my name in the movie was Nakia. I don't know where that came from. But yes, I wrote a whole movie about my wedding to Michael Jackson when I was a little girl.
When you were a little girl.
Mm-hmm. I love Michael Jackson. My birthday is August 29th. His birthday is August 29th. And I just thought we were destined to be together.
Now, what did your room look like? Did you have the posters up?
Yeah, I had the poster. I had at my grandmother's house, I had the yellow sweater. I had the Thriller. There was Beat It. There was quite a few Michael Jackson. I had a room with one of my uncles who's like, I shared a room with my uncle, but it's not weird because my uncle is not that much older than me because we're Puerto Rican. But in the room, there was posters of Michael Jackson.
Now, did you do the Thriller dance? Did you have that down?
I did when I was a kid. I can't do it anymore. I don't. But it's so funny to see people do it and to see kids do it, and I'm like, they know it.
Yeah, it got passed down. Have you seen MJ the musical?
I have not. I'm going to go see it.
Fan, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. Somebody else. I've been just touring, and every time I've had an opportunity to go see it, I just haven't had the time. But I'm gonna go see it for sure.
Now, one of the things you did was Tiffany Haddish, Stay Ready. And I think you guys have a beautiful history together, beautiful friendship. And we've interviewed a few ladies who Tiffany has spotlighted, which I think is great because she's one of the people that's bringing people up, which a lot of people don't do. They don't reach back. So how did you guys meet, and what does her friendship mean to you?
So I met Tiffany at the CBS, it was a CBS showcase audition that they do when they're looking for new faces. Okay. And I went in to audition, and she was there, and she was like, oh, I heard about you. She was like, I heard about you because you're the one on the foxhole, and I've been hearing about you. And we just became friends from that moment. She was like, I want to be your friend. She's very, there's a childlike innocence to Tiffany that when I met her, now she's grown, you know, now she feels like a grown woman. But when I met her, there was this innocence about her that made her so endearing, and just the sweetness about her. Like she's never, you know, she's always just talked to every and anybody, and she was very just very welcoming to me. She probably knew what I was experiencing with some of the people in comedy, and she just showed up. And I remember when, for one of my birthdays, she bought me a Barbie, and she was like, "Don't forget to play," because she knows my past and my childhood. We had a lot of similarities with our moms and being, siblings that took care of our younger siblings. And it was very, I can't tell you, I don't have the words to express how it felt to hear her call me one time and say, "Hey, I want to do this special for Netflix." And I've told this story and it never gets old because she was like in the midst of superstardom. I think Variety magazine said Tiffany Haddish is the funniest person on the planet. It was something like that. And she was huge. And she still took the time, to bring me, Shantae, April, Flame, and Tracy along. And, what can you say when somebody does that? When somebody takes a pay cut to put money in your pocket and give you one of the biggest platforms that you've ever had in your life. So I'm always going to be grateful to her for that.
It's beautiful. And it's just like you said, a lot of people don't do that because when they get their shot, because she was in grinding for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
She got that shot. She got Girls Trip and just went there, and then she still reached back. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
So I'd love to give her flowers.
It's true.
It's really dope for her to do that. And you did an HBO special, and you have multiple HBO projects, and you've directed. So let's talk about that.
Well, my special was, me stepping onto the platform on my own and, doing something that was very creative. It was something that, and it was a collective, how this came about was not just my idea, so I can't take credit for that. But I had an opportunity to do a comedy special and a documentary, and the documentary was to show people how I mind my comedy. So I went to see my father in the Dominican Republic, met him for the first time since I was a baby.
Oh, wow.
Documented it. Nadia Hallgren, who directed Mrs. Obama's documentary, directed mine.
Oh, Becoming?
Becoming. And she's a brilliant filmmaker. And then Chris Mercado, who was also like a very well-known and respected director who's directed Taylor Tomlinson and all the big comics, directed my comedy special. So that was a big deal for me because creatively I had a lot of voice in it, a lot of say. And I was able to do this thing. I went to the Dominican Republic. I went to Puerto Rico. I showcased, where I came from. I highlighted comedians from Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. I was able to show the beautiful, diverse faces of both countries where you see, these beautiful Black people, because when you see Spanish language television, there's not a lot of Black faces on there. So I wanted to make sure that I showed all my people, what my family looks like. My children were in it. And it was special. And then I had the opportunity to direct and produce some comedy specials from people that I thought and that, the collective thought were worthy of note. And Marcella Arguello, who's a Salvadorian amazing comedian from the Bay, I did her half-hour special. Lara, who's a Dominican from New York, from Queens, who I think is brilliant. I was able to showcase him. And then these two young, also comedians, Ralph Barbosa, who's like one of the biggest comedians in the land right now, one of the biggest touring comics. And Gwen La Roka, who's from Chicago, and she's a brilliant comedian and actor. She's a great one-woman show. So it was cool to be able to get behind the camera and just highlight other faces and let it be about somebody else and show people a good range of talent that also needs to be recognized.
I love that you are taking on different hats because in a way you have to because, things evolve and things change, work changes, you want to stay working. Good for you. And you're finding it's a way to give, you just mentioned that, to give other people of color, opportunities because a lot of things aren't written.
Absolutely.
For people of color. So kudos to you.
Yeah,
keep doing what you're doing.
The shows are very diverse, the movie's very diverse, and you get to see a spectrum of people,
Is there a dream actor, co-star, or anybody that you would love to have someday?
You know, I was thinking about that yesterday because I was like, Pedro Pascal is everywhere, and I was like,
he's dope.
I would love to work with someone like him. But you know, just there are so many good actors, people who really respect the craft, who show up. Just being in the presence of people who want to act because they love the craft, not because they're seeking fame. That's my dream, is to be in the presence of those people.
Okay. Something I always like to ask too, if there was a Mount Rushmore of women of color in comedy, who would your four be?
Wanda Sykes, for sure. Mount Rushmore of women in comedy. Wow. They don't get to surpass the ceiling.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wanda Sykes. I think Samore deserves to be on there. I believe Samore's worked really hard and paved the way for a lot of us. I would put a Puerto Rican woman who never got the just due that she deserved, Shayla Rivera. Maybe, you know, I would put Moms Mabley on there, yeah. Somebody like
She's
that.
She's very common to get. Samore and Moms Mabley is probably when we ask people those
that get the most.
They get the most. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Moms Mabley deserves to be there as well.
Yeah. And what is your favorite city to perform in?
DC.
And why is that?
I love the audiences. They give you a little bit of it's like intellectual thuggery in DC, and that's my brand of humor. So
that's your sweet spot.
Yeah, I love it there. I always have this wide range of diverse audiences that come see me in DC, and people like you, because one of the things people always tell me at the clubs is like, a lot of white people come see you, and I'm like, why are you shocked? I'm a comic. Like, they should come see me. They like my comedy, but so does everybody else. But I think in DC, everybody comes out and they like, it's an interactive experience. They right there with me.
And can you give kind of idea? You're well beyond this, but it is hard with the pay. How people get surprised how little some of these
gigs pay.
Rooms are. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the problem is with comedy is that there's no union, and all of the people who were allegedly trying to start a union blew up. So when they would blow up, they would be gone. And there's never been anybody who's really committed to the cause that has power. Because like, if I could start a union for comedians, I would. I just don't believe I have the power to do that. If I did, I would. But as a result, there's a great disparity in pay. And I've been offered $25,000 to do something, and a week later somebody was like, I got $75 for you if you come do this. And wow. That's just the way comedy is. There's no regulation of it, and because there's no regulation, I think comedians are like the blue collar workers of the entertainment business, because SAG exists, the WGA exists, the Producers Guild exists, the Director Guilds exist, but there's nothing to regulate what happens with comedians. And I think that, it's the wild, wild west out there. Everybody's out there surviving. And just because you see someone on television or you see them go viral doesn't mean they make a lot of money. And you can't fault the people on social media that found another stream of income.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And that's why a lot of people have turned to that, because it can be very lucrative. You go viral on TikTok, you get a following and all that. You can pay your bills big time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about your podcast. What made you start your own podcast? And you have named it Say What You Mean.
Yeah.
Aida Rodriguez.
So
say what you mean. What made you start the podcast?
I've been wanting to do a podcast, but I didn't want to do the same podcast that everybody was doing. I didn't want to do the hot takes or the roasting people or the, pop culture, whatever. And not that there's anything wrong with it. I just didn't want to do it because I do Talking Head a lot. I was on the Young Turks. I've always been talking about what's happening. So I wanted it to be something more focused. And so anyway, I was thinking about how many things I wish I would have said that I didn't. And I was interested in knowing, if I got together with other people, if they'd be interested in sharing those things. And I found out that they did, because my podcast is 30 minutes where people come and say something that they wish they would have said that they didn't. And then you get to understand why they didn't. And the answers have ranged from Roy Wood Jr. was talking about telling his father that he loved him before he died. Kwame the rapper talked about, you know, the same with his brother. I've had people cry on the podcast, people laugh, people rage out and say, I wish I would have said. And it's been really interesting to see, you know, people just, they never think Raven-Symone did it. And, you know, like there was a person that she wished she would have said something to when she was in middle school. Like those people hold on to those things. And
has it taken off on a life of its own that you didn't expect?
Yeah. I have people reaching out to me now asking me to do it. I've had several entities call me about acquiring it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're
I just
good.
kept it though. I'm keeping it, and I want to build it, you know, one person at a time. And I'm enjoying just growing it authentically, organically, instead of, you know, the machine getting behind it. So.
And it's on YouTube?
It is on YouTube. Okay. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere podcasts are available, and we do a video portion of it on YouTube. It's been really fun. I'm excited about the next season. We're going into season 4, but this season is not finished, and we've had, you know, Michael Che's done it, Angela Yee, nice. Tiffany's done it. Like, we've had some really interesting people, but just different people from different walks of life, and it's been fun to watch.
So what do you want to say? What do you wish you had said?
Every week, every episode I give, I always say, you know, so I always have a confession. You know, I think some of the things that I wish I would have said, and I'll go back to comedy. Just, I don't need your notes. I don't want your advice, and I don't need your coaching. Please leave me alone. Like, I hate when somebody who I don't think is a good comedian or I don't respect. And listen, I think you can learn something from anyone. Yeah. But when someone arrogantly approaches me to give me notes on comedy that they don't take themselves is one of the most irritating things. And I hate it. So I wish you would just keep your notes to yourself, because I didn't ask for them.
I hear that. Mm-hmm. What was your nickname growing up?
So my nickname is Aidita in home, and my dad's nickname for me is Kookie. So when they separated, they had their own nickname for me.
Okay. And do you have any hidden talents?
Archery, I think.
Really?
Which is something that's new for me, but I'm pretty good at it, I think. I'm preparing for the apocalypse.
I'm also, don't go to her house. Don't go to her house.
I'm a pretty good shot.
I
like to shoot. I love salsa dancing. I love to salsa dance. I wouldn't say it's a hidden talent. I just think we all are taught to dance by our mothers when we're little.
And where can people see you on tour coming up?
So my next show will be here in Los Angeles at the Hollywood Improv on August 31st. It will be my birthday weekend.
Okay.
So I'm closing it out with a show at the Improv at 7. I will be in Houston in September, I believe the weekend of the 11th through the 13th at the Punchline. And then I will be in D.C. October 16th through the 18th at the D.C. Comedy Loft, which I can't wait because I love going to D.C.
Well, we're going to post all of that because we love to support you.
Thank you.
And one of the things you talked about earlier about going viral, one of the jokes we posted, are you talking about men need to have approval or a license or something before they have a penis?
Oh, yeah, that.
Where'd you go with that joke? How'd you come up with that?
It was just I was actually talking to a bunch of guys when that came up, and we were talking about what we hoped for the opposite gender. And I said, well, I really think that men, can be dangerous, and I think that penis is their greatest weapon, and so they should have to earn it. and there should be like some prerequisites they should meet before they get it. And some people agreed with me, even men. They're like, I would have made a lot of better choices had I had to earn my penis.
Got a lot of comments. We posted that. That was a really good one.
Yeah.
And where can people find you if they don't know?
Funny AIDA, funnyaida.com is my website, which has all the information for my tour dates and my book, which I have a book that came out, a HarperCollins book called Legitimate Kid. And my book is not funny, so please spare me. Okay. It wasn't meant to be funny. It's a memoir. And then you can see all the information on my podcast. And then I'm on social media, Funny AIDA on, I think, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and then on Facebook it's Aida.Rodriguez, because there are some people who have fake pages that are not
right. Beware. Aida, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This is
fan.
Great.
Love
I
everything
appreciate
you do.
you.
Keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
And thank you for being a comedy diva.
Thank you for naming me one. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe so we can bring you more amazing divas. This has been Gurl Talk for Comedy Divas. I'm Sharon B. Bye.